On a typical morning in Los Angeles, the bustling streets are filled with people going about their usual routines. Mike, the newly appointed director of the city's Office of Emergency Management, prepares breakfast for himself and his 13-year-old daughter Kelly. However, Kelly has been exhibiting behavioral issues due to her parents' recent divorce. They are scheduled to leave on a vacation, but their plans are disrupted when a sudden and strong earthquake shakes the city. The tremor is brief but powerful, causing Dr. Calder at the hospital to hold on to her patient to prevent them from falling off the stretcher. Despite the earthquake, Mike decides to go to work instead of proceeding with their vacation. Upon arriving at work, Mike's coworker Emmett informs him that the earthquake did not cause significant damage, suggesting that he should resume his vacation. However, Mike personally investigates and discovers that the water main has ruptured and the gas supply is disrupted. Meanwhile, at a construction site in the park, workers are engaged in the Red Line subway extension project. Curiosity peaks as they overhear a noise and witness yellow gas emanating from the tunnel. They rush to assist a worker who emerges from the tunnel with severe burns on his body. Mike arrives at the park and learns about the burned bodies. Although everyone attributes it to steam, Mike is skeptical and attempts to suspend the subway lines running parallel to the incident. However, MTA Chairman Olber refuses, dismissing any danger to the trains. Olber's pride in the project leads him to ignore requests for a pause in the railway construction. Meanwhile, the bodies are taken for examination at the medical forensics facility. Dr. Calder is alarmed by an unusual scent emanating from the burns, indicating that they were not caused by steam or gas. Emmett arrives at the park to dissuade Mike from pursuing the case, as gas leaks are not within their jurisdiction. Defying regulations, Mike and his coworker Gator venture into the sewers to search for clues. As they explore, they notice the air becoming increasingly hot and the fumes more suffocating. The proximity to the subway causes the tunnel to shake whenever a train passes by. Gator discovers burnt rats, and they realize their rubber gloves are slowly melting. Suddenly, scorching gases seep out of a fracture in the concrete, forcing them to flee rapidly to avoid being burned alive. Armed with evidence, Mike instructs Emmett to close down the park. Later, Olber introduces Amy, a geologist who believes the entire city is geologically unstable, suggesting that tunnels should not be constructed underground. Mike brings Amy to the park, where she conducts studies using various instruments. Her conclusion sounds far-fetched. She believes a volcano is rapidly forming beneath the city, with lava flowing underground. However, lacking sufficient evidence, she struggles to convince Mike, who finds the notion of lava in Los Angeles absurd. Unbeknownst to them, the park's fountain statue slowly sinks into the ground. In the evening, Amy and her assistant Rachel inspect the accident scene in the storm drain. They discover a fracture in the ground that released the earlier gases. They continue exploring the underground tunnels, collecting samples and seeking an explanation. Suddenly, another earthquake strikes the area, causing a power outage throughout the city. At home, Mike hurriedly wakes up and ensures his daughter Kelly is safe before rushing out to search for her. Underground, the night train driver attempts to stop the train, but it collides with debris falling from the earthquake. The quake opens a hole in the tunnel, and Rachel falls, hanging precariously at the edge. Amy tries to save her, but the intensifying smoke and escalating heat make it increasingly challenging. A burst of scorching steam engulfs Rachel, burning her to death and leaving Amy in shock. Upon emerging from the tunnel, Amy notices the fountain water boiling. Gradually, generators power up in crucial buildings across the city. Mike leaves his home, taking Kelly with him, believing he can keep her safe at the office. Suddenly, massive geysers of steam erupt from every manhole on the streets. Initially, cars come to a halt, but the situation worsens as smoke and rocks rain down. The panicked citizens attempt to drive away, resulting in accidents and chaos. Lava bombs fall, causing houses to explode, and debris destroys buildings and traffic lights. The falling debris leads to more accidents as people flee in panic. At the MTA office, Olber learns about the trapped train in the tunnels and decides to lead a rescue team. Meanwhile, the train driver tries to calm the terrified passengers and escape, but the doors are jammed. Calder finds herself trapped in traffic, witnessing lava bombs strike a fire truck that arrives at the scene. Mike halts his car, attempting to calm the frightened citizens, but looting and chaos ensue. Amy's equipment is stolen as she is momentarily distracted by falling ash. Firefighters work tirelessly to combat the disaster, while Mike strives to reach his office. Calder, attending to an injured person, informs Mike about the damaged fire truck and its trapped occupants. Mike rushes to aid the firefighters, witnessing the city rumbling. Another earthquake strikes, demolishing a building and showering broken glass upon them. In disbelief, Mike watches as a volcano erupts from the city's tar pits, spewing lava that swiftly engulfs everything in its path. Lava engulfs vehicles, and a terrified Kelly leaves the car, her pants catching fire. Mike acts swiftly to extinguish the flames, ultimately picking her up. Surrounded by lava, Mike jumps onto his car, reaching safety just before the vehicle is consumed. The lava proceeds to destroy the fallen fire truck, and a firefighter attempts to rescue his trapped colleague. Unfortunately, they do not escape in time, and both are killed by the advancing lava. The powerful eruption causes a massive explosion, and Mike hands Kelly to Calder, instructing her to take Kelly to the hospital with the other injured individuals. Helicopters filled with reporters fly overhead, capturing footage of the lava gradually advancing along the main avenue of Los Angeles. People abandon their homes as they crumble, and a dog clutches its bone before fleeing with its owners. Amy rolls a basketball on the ground, observing the slope that directs the lava toward a gas station. Efforts to push vehicles and create diversions prove inefficient. Emergency trucks arrive, and Mike and Amy devise a plan to construct concrete barricades at the intersection of Wilshire Boulevard and Fairfax Avenue. This creates a cul-de-sac to contain the lava, while helicopters douse it with water, creating a crust. People join forces, pushing debris to reinforce the barricade, while Mike provides organized instructions. Medical tents are established, and veterinarians save animals. Calder tends to children with burns, asking Kelly to entertain them until their parents are located. Meanwhile, the barricade construction continues, with firefighters, police officers, and city workers using jackhammers and other tools to redirect the lava away from critical areas. As the lava is successfully contained and hardened by the water, people rejoice, believing that the eruption has been halted. However, Amy remains concerned and ventures into the subway tunnels to investigate further. Using a device, she confirms that the lava is still flowing underground. She urgently contacts Mike, informing him that the eruption has merely shifted to the end of the Red Line subway extension, near the Beverly Center where the medical tents are located. Mike joins Amy at the end of the line, lowering a video camera into the tunnel to observe the lava. However, the intense heat causes the camera to incinerate. Mike pushes Amy away just in time as flames erupt from the tunnel. Analyzing the lava's pace, they realize that a full-scale eruption will occur in 30 minutes. Mike contacts Emma to initiate the evacuation of the medical tents. He discusses their options with Amy, who suggests focusing on evacuating the city, rather than trying to control the lava. However, Mike remains determined and spots a building, sparking an idea. They decide to use explosives to create channels in the streets, diverting the lava toward Bologna Creek, which leads to the Pacific Ocean. Although the terrain initially slopes in the opposite direction, they plan to demolish a 22-story condominium building to prevent the lava from entering the city. Amy is entrusted with finding Kelly while the team starts preparing the explosives. However, Amy discovers that Kelly is missing because she wandered off while searching for a lost child. Despite the setback, the team works quickly, aware that they have limited time. Gator and his men place explosives inside the condominium building, but a series of earthquakes begin to shake the area. The eruption occurs sooner than anticipated, causing the street to collapse and sending everyone into a panic. Inside the building, one of the workers becomes trapped beneath a collapsed column, and Gator is unable to free him. Despite the encroaching lava, Gator chooses to stay and detonate the final explosive charge. The explosives are set off one by one, but chaos ensues as the earthquake intensifies. Mike notices Kelly and the lost child in the path of the explosions. He races towards them, pushing them to the ground just as the entire building collapses. The plan succeeds, diverting the lava through the newly created channels towards the ocean. Amidst the celebration of victory, Amy searches for her missing friend. Suddenly, a hand emerges from the debris, and Mike emerges with Kelly and the child, all miraculously alive. With ash covering everyone, making them indistinguishable regardless of race, rain begins to fall, washing away the ash. Amy expresses her gratitude to Mike for teaching her not to give up. Emmett arrives with another emergency, but Mike declines, stating that he is finally going on vacation with his daughter. The city begins the process of recovery, while Mike and Amy reflect on their harrowing experiences.